Hey folks, Justin Humphreys, Realtor Red One Realty, reaching out to you on this summer, sunny, hot Saturday afternoon. Getting ready to take the kids to the pool here in a couple minutes, and just wanted to reach out and give you a quick update, talk about a couple current topics that are going on as well. So, out showing houses earlier today, a couple in Marion and a couple closer to the Columbus market. And tell you what, interest rates are high, relatively over what we've been experiencing the past couple years. They've been floating right between 6.8 and 7.1 for the past couple weeks now. So if you need a real-time update, text me or give me a call and I can provide you with that information. But that's where they've been kind of hovering, which compared to the 3s and 4s that we were dealing with during the pandemic, which was insanely low, and then the traditional 4s and 5s that we had before that, they're still considered kind of high. But I just want to let everybody know that those rates are expected to fall. Disclaimer, I am not a financial advisor, but we have an election year coming next year, and those rates are expected to fall back down, hopefully into the 5.5 to 5 range, or possibly, ideally, even a little bit lower than that. But if you are on the fence about buying right now due to the interest rates, my advice to my clients is always, listen, right now, interest rates may be up a little bit. And that may mean a couple, $100 to $150 more on your mortgage if you purchase a house right now. But the benefits of this are that there is less competition, a little bit less competition than there would be with those lower interest rates. Also, there's a little bit more options out there because houses aren't flying off the market, after 48 hours of being active and having showings. So, my advice, and you'll hear this a lot, is to marry the house and date the rate, which means get in the house now, and when the rates come back down, you can refinance. A lot of lenders right now are providing very beneficial refinance language from the onset when you get your loan now, because they know that a lot of people are going to be doing that. So they're offering maybe free appraisals or some sort of incentives towards the refinance if and when that happens. So yes, the market is still hot. Houses are still moving in less than a week in desirable areas. But my advice is marry the house, date the rate, get in that house now. When those interest rates drop, hopefully this next coming year, refinance, get that lower mortgage payment, and don't regret on missing out on your dream home or a property that you've got your eye on that's out there in the market right now. My other reason for jumping on here today and chatting with everybody was I had to pinch myself yesterday, not once to see if I was dreaming or not, but twice. And I'll talk to you about why. The first reason, I found myself on YouTube yesterday watching the House hearing on the UFO or UAP whistleblowers committee that they had yesterday. So you've got a bunch of politicians on the committee panel interviewing three of the most well-known UFO whistleblowers, if you'd like to call them that, that we have today. And it was surreal watching our politicians answer and ask these very surreal, very out of this world, for lack of a better term, questions to these people. They were Commander David Fravor, who famously recorded and chased the Tic Tac UFO. I think it was in 2004 off the coast of San Diego, about 100 miles off the coast. If you are unfamiliar with that incident, I urge you to go on YouTube and check that out. Very interesting, very credible too. This guy was a lifelong career pilot. I think he ultimately gained the rank of colonel or admiral. He was a pretty high-ranking Navy official when his career was all said and done. He chased this thing. Him and another plane chased a Tic Tac shaped object over the ocean off the coast of San Diego back in 2004. The other gentleman, his name was Ryan Graves. Also, just like Commander Fravor, has been making the rounds on all the popular podcasts lately, Lex Friedman and Joe Rogan. And he describes his encounter, and then also people in his regiment's encounter as well with these UFOs that they were seeing and flying with and encountering on a daily basis. a daily basis. Now, this is on the other side of the country, off the coast, off the East Coast. I'm not sure exactly where. Maybe Virginia or the Carolinas off the coast there. But again, if you're unfamiliar with that, go check it out. The third guy, I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but he's the big whistleblower that's been all over the news lately. So I'm just want to put this question out to you guys. How do you feel about this? Do you think that this is some kind of weird false flag thing from the government to distract us from something, or do you think that this is technology that we have that? Oh, sorry, I touched my mic. Do you think that this is technology that we have that our government has or another government has that they're not revealing to the public, or do you think that the ETs are here and have been here for a while and are checking up on us every once in a while? So I'd love to hear your opinion on that. That was one reason I had to pinch myself yesterday. Very surreal moment seeing all those politicians having very serious conversations about things that we would typically only see in sci-fi movies, language that we would only typically see in movies and video games and things like that. Very incredible. So that was reason number one. Reason number two, I had to pinch myself yesterday, was the fight card tonight for the UFC pay-per-view. UFC 291 takes place tonight, and it is a stacked card from top to bottom. Very good fights, very big names. So in the main event, you've got Dustin Diamond Poirier versus Justin Gaethje for their second fight, their rematch. And if you know or follow MMA, these are two of the most highly credentialed lightweights in the division. They fought once before. Dustin Poirier won that fight. That was 5 years ago. Both have grown leaps and bounds since then. So extremely excited for that main event. And along with that main event, the BMF title is also on the line. So how do you tell me how you feel about the BMF title? Do you think that's a cool thing? Is it just something stupid? Does it bother you? Are you on board with it? I kind of like it. I love the belt, the way it looks. I like the title, and certainly these two guys would qualify um, for that belt. The co-main event, we have Alex Pereira moving up to light heavyweight from middleweight to fight Jan Blachowicz, who former champion, has been a mainstay in the light heavyweight division for a long time. Alex Pereira, grossly oversized at middleweight, had a lot of problems cutting weight, just lost to Israel Adesanya maybe just a couple months ago, and he's turning it right back around against the former light heavyweight champion. Um, Incredible fight. This one is tough to call. I'm very on the fence about who I'm going to take in this fight. Pereira's got the power, but is it going to translate to the light heavyweight division? Jan Blachowicz has the experience. He's fought all these middleweights that come up, and he has turned, I think, all of them away. But he is not the guy you want to see on the other end of your first light heavyweight fight in the UFC. He's a credentialed veteran of the division, very strong, very powerful, very good on the ground, very good with his hands as well. So great fight there. I did see that Stephen Wonderboy Thompson's fight versus Michel Pereira, I think I'm saying his name right, got canceled. Pereira missed weight, and it had to have been pretty extensively. Stephen Thompson declined to fight him at the weight that he was coming in at, so that fight is off the card, unfortunately. I thought that was going to be an amazing fight. Michel Pereira is one of the most exciting and electric fighters inside the cage in the UFC today. He does crazy, runs up the cage, does backflips, does front flips, does the rolling thunder kicks, all this wild stuff. So I was really excited to see how that would match up against Stephen Thompson's point fight expert karate style that he uses. Lots of very kick heavy, lots of blitzes and fast strikes. So that one's off the card, unfortunately. But we also still have Bobby Green versus Tony Ferguson, which is going to be a great fight. Tony Ferguson, he's on a long fight skid, I think maybe 4 or 5. A lot of people are calling for him, maybe that it's time to hang it up, or maybe it's time to retire. He seems to disagree. Bobby Green, a very well credentialed, another veteran, maybe not as popular as Tony Ferguson, but probably been around just as long. And a tough game fighter, very good with his hands, but also skilled as a wrestler as well. So we'll see. If Tony Ferguson loses this one, I think it's going to be probably time to hang it up. I don't know how much further the UFC will let him take it after 6 losses. They may end up cutting him if he loses. So there's a lot on the line for that fight. Tony is a crowd favorite. Obviously sells a lot of tickets, so we'll see what happens with that fight. I also saw that Derek Lewis. He may have got added to the main card since Wonder Boy's fight got canceled, but he's fighting a relatively unknown Brazilian fighter, Rodrigo de Lima, I believe is his last name, and I don't know what to expect from that fight. Derek Lewis was the crown prince of the heavyweight division for a couple years. He was tearing through the competition. He would have these incredible fights where he would get beat down and come back at the last second and knock the guy out. He did that a few times. He's battled a lot of health issues, though. He said that his weight cuts have been extremely bad because of that. So we'll see how he fares tonight, see if he can turn that skid around. And to his opponent, knocking out or finishing Derek Lewis is a big notch in the belt for a relatively unknown, to me, a relatively unknown Brazilian fighter. That would be great for his career. And lastly on the card, and as I'm going through these fights, I could talk for an hour about each one of these fights, but incredible. Lastly on the card, we have Michael Chiesa versus Kevin Holland. Chiesa obviously been in the division for a long time, been in the UFC for a long time. Well-credentialed jiu-jitsu fighter, decent with his hands, good on the ground, taking on Kevin Holland. Kevin Holland has become a fan favorite recently because of his antics inside and out the cage. The guy never stops talking. He talks through the entire fight, so when he's going to fight, at least it's going to be entertaining. His groundwork has struggled in the past, and we'll see how that has evolved against Michael Chiesa, because I guarantee that it's going to end up on the ground at some point. Michael Chiesa likes to fight on the ground. But Kevin Holland, when he's standing up, is deadly. He's long, he's strong, he has power in his legs and in his hands. He's knocked people out from such unorthodox positions you wouldn't believe. Upward back fist. All these weird, crazy things that have happened with him, where he's achieved these knockouts from strange positions. But all in all, this card tonight is incredible. I'm probably going to end up putting a 5 or 6 fight parlay. Probably just bet the favorites on the main card and see what happens. It's hard to call, but I'm super excited. So those are the 2 reasons I had to pinch myself yesterday. One, our government's openly talking about the UFOs, the downed and obtained materials and biologicals that we apparently have, and this incredible card that I can't wait to watch tonight. I'm taking the kids to the pool. I'm going to tire them out. I'm going to come back here, put the pay-per-view on, and just kick back and enjoy it. So real estate wise, listen, our interest rates are up, but don't let that stop you from getting your dream home. If you need help, reach out to me today, 740-275-1277. Justin Humphreys, Realtor, Red One Realty. I'm signing off. You guys enjoy the rest of your weekend. And as always, if you're looking to buy, sell, build, or invest, you're just in time with Humphreys Homes at Red One Realty.